Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is HP Fashions GY, and in today's tutorials we'll be learning on how to cut and sew a princess bustier with an X pattern surface and also with a yoke. Alright, so I will take my half length of 18 plus extra allowance making 21. So I will use 21 as my half length. I want the face to have a shape, so I will add extra 3 inches at the front, extra 3 inches because it's actually a bustier. Then I will take my shoulder measurement of 17, then my armhole depth of 8.5. All right, then I will still extend my half length of is 18. Okay, so at this moment now I will divide my bust measurement by 4, bust measurement of 43 by 4. Then I'll add an extra 2.5 inches allowance. Then I'll divide my waist measurement of 37 by 4 as well, and insert the measurement there. So adding extra allowance of 2.5 inches. Then I'll have to extend that to the down. Okay, extend the waist measurement down to then make my connection from the waist to the bust, then bust to shoulder. Okay, this is what it is. All right, so at this point I'm going to take my middle measurement of 5 inches. I'll take it all the way. All right, then I will extend the wideness. I'll use 8 at this point. Okay, then I will take my under bust measurement, which is 14.5.2, then my bust point, which is 11.5 and 10.5. All right, I usually use 3 points. Then I'll be using 3 inches for my bust point. I'll be using 2.5, sorry, for my from my under bust to make a minus. Okay, then I'll make a connection from my under bust to my bust point. All right, then from my bust point to my shoulder. Okay, I will still need to extend my shoulder by with extra half an inch or 1 inch as well. Just extend it. All right, actually my nipple to nipple measurement, the bust points from one bust to the other, is actually 8, which I'm supposed to use 4, but I want sewing allowance in it. So okay, I'm making do of 2.2 inches, 2.2 inches, 2.2 inches. Then I will extend the shoulder line by 5.5 at this point. Then I'll make my connection. All right, I said the reason why I used 5 inches was because I will also make a joining of this 2.2 inches, which I'm minusing right now. So I need sewing allowance. After joining, I should be able to have my 8 inches back, and also after joining the bust here I should be able to have my 8 inches back. All right, so this moment now I'll go ahead and trace this out. And also the reason why I use 3 points for my bust point is because I want the surface to be really curved. I don't want it to be pointed. All right, so this is what it is right now. All right, so I'll go ahead now and pronounce my half length measurement. I'll add 1 inch downward using 19 instead of 18, or I'll just use 18.5. Let me just put half inch downward. Then I'll make a curve and connect to the downside. All right, so at this point I'll go ahead and trace the line out. I don't really want the basque waistline to be really deep. I want it to be mild. That's why I did not use much. Okay, so now I will go ahead and trace my line out as well. Okay, after cutting this, I'll also go ahead to get my lining exactly the way this is. I'll just go ahead and trace it and get it exactly the way this pattern is. Okay, so ensure to do yours well. All right, so this is it. Okay, this is how it looks like after cutting. Okay, this is what you should have after cutting. All right, at this moment I'll go ahead and place my X pattern on this, but aside that, we'll take a particular measurement for this. You take a particular measurement. You can use 5.5 or 6 inches wide, or let's just go with 6 inches. Then I'll cut it out, use it to get others. Cut it out, use it to get others. All right, so I'll place it on my middle fabric. All right, this particular fabric is the 2.2 inches, the middle point. All right, the middle fabric, this is it. All right, so I'll go ahead and get as much as I want, okay? But I'll be using just 10 of it, 2 for one and also 2 for the other. All right, so I'll go ahead and place it this way, then I'll top stitch on it to secure it so that it will be very easy for me to sew or join. All right, then for the other side I'll still go ahead and top stitch, then ensure I arrange it very well before I top stitch. All right, so ensure you arrange yours well. It's actually very important. If you're doing this, it's actually very important to arrange it well. Okay, so the next thing now is to join the other sides to the middle. Okay, so you should start your joining from the top down to the bottom. Okay, all right, so right now I'm starting my joining from the up side or the upper part, using either 1/2 inch or less than 1/2 inch, right? But just ensure your stitches are thin. Okay, so ensure to also follow the shape. Okay, so I will just stitch this all the way down and ensure you secure your stitches. All right, so at this point now I'll be sewing the other side. This is how it looks like for the first one. So I'm going to place the other one and join it as well, starting my joining from the top. Okay, after joining this I'll go ahead and iron it. All right, okay, so this is what it looks like. All right, this is it. All right, this is how it is. Yeah, I'll go and iron this right now. Go and press it. All right, I've ironed it. I had to sprinkle a lot of water on it because I don't want my iron to overheat and end up burning my fabric. All right, so this is how it looks like. At this point now I'll be attaching it to my breast pad. Okay, so ensure your breast pad should start from the under bust upward. Okay, so I placed my breast pad and I measured it. It started from the under bust, which is 14.5.2 upward. So I'll go ahead and top stitch to secure it before I will do my joining. Okay, so this is it. Ensure you arrange before you sew. It's very important as well, just the way I'm arranging this. Then I'll go ahead and trim this out. All right, I've also attached to my side bust here. So right now I'll go ahead and join it. I'll start my joining from the down side. I'll start the joining from the bottom. Then I'm going to arrange this and sew all the way up. When sewing the princess bustier, ensure to start your sewing from the bottom side, from the down part. Go ahead and arrange, then sew. Okay, If there is any excess, it will definitely come out at the upper part, and it won't affect your measurement or the sewing at all. All right, so this is it. This is for one part. All right, this is the second part. I'll also go ahead to stitch on the breast part. Okay, then afterwards I'll trim out the excess. Then attach it back. All right, so right now I'll go ahead and attach it to the second side. All right, and I've also attached it, starting my sewing from the down part. Okay, so this is how it looks like, and I've not ironed my bustier yet, which I will. So at this point now, I'll go ahead and notch my sewing, the joining of the bustier, starting from the under bust to the bust point. Then I will stop there. The reason is because the sewing really needs to sit perfectly on the body as well. So after this now, go ahead and iron this. Okay, all right, I've also ironed this. All right, I've ironed it. I had to open the lines and iron it one after the other. All right, so at this point now, make sure I pin the two joining sides to face each other. Then I also pin the down part. The joining should also face each other. All right, the joining should also face each other. You can go ahead and pin the middle side if you so wish. All right, this is it. Ensure the bust curve faces each other perfectly. All right, so I'll be making a minus to insert our yoke. I'll be making a minus from the middle part. I'll be making a minus of 7 inches on the middle part, 7 inches. All right, from then the side, I'll be making use of 5.5. I really don't want the yoke to be too deep. I don't want it to be deep at all. I just want it to be mild. Yeah, if you want yours very deep, you can go ahead and use either 10, 9.5, 11, depending on how you want it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and trim this out. Ensure to follow the lines. I'll go ahead and trim this out. All right, I've trimmed it out, and I'll go ahead and take off my pins. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stitch this point so that my sewing will not lose. It will not end up losing up and all. So I'll go ahead and stitch up all the sides that I cut through. All right, so this is how it looks like at this moment. Okay, this is how it looks like. Right, so I'll keep this aside. Then get my net. I'll be using the same color of net, not an illusion net. And I'll place my pattern, the pattern I trimmed out on top of the net. Then I'll be making do of leaving 1 inch above. Then I'll go ahead and trim the downside. Out. Okay, trim the sides out. Remember, I left 1 inch above, so I'll just shift my fabric upward at most 0.2 inches is actually enough. This is how the downside looks like, 0.2 inches. 0.2 inches is not up to 1 inch. All right, so at this moment now, go ahead and trim the upper part. I'll go ahead and trim the upper part out. Okay, so this is the yoke now. I'll be using wideness of 4 inches for the neck wideness of 4 inches, then depth of 4 inches. I'll make my connections, and I'll also cut it out. All right, don't forget to slant your shoulder. Don't forget to slant your shoulders. It helps it to relax more on the shoulder as well. All right, so at this moment now, I'll go ahead and sew the neckline and turn it with the same net, the same color of net. All right, this is it. This is what it looks like. All right, so go ahead and stitch. Afterwards, I'll be notching the neckline. Go ahead and notch the neckline. Give it a nice notch. Shouldn't be too deep to affect the sewing. All right, so this is it. Now I'll go ahead and attach it to my fabric. I'll use a pin to secure it, okay? Then I'll arrange it well. I'm going to arrange this well. Arrange this well to the end. So I'll go ahead and start my sewing from this point. Go ahead and start my sewing from this point. Okay. Then take the curve as well. All right, at this moment now, you need to be careful. All right, so just turn your fabric the other way. Just turn your fabric the other way and sew. Okay, this is it. If you find this video very helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel. All right, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, turn on the notification button for more videos. All right, don't forget to notch the middle point. It also helps it to relax. This is how it looks like. Looking fine already. This is how it looks like. Okay, all right, so at this point now, we'll just go ahead and attach our lining to it. All right, use our lining to turn it all up. All right, we've turned our lining, so don't forget to top stitch on the lining part after turning it. All right, so this is it. This is the outcome or the result. This is HP Fashions GY. Kindly like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye.